All right, so I had a couple questions about a converting problem. So I'm going to do a couple of them. This is just the first video of the couple of unit problems, unit conversions that we're going to be doing. So first things first, the problem states that we need to convert 185 yards per minute to miles per hour. So what we need to kind of sort of know here is that we're dealing with velocity, we're dealing with the speed, yards per minute, miles per hour. Miles per hour is like the odometer, the speedometer in your car. Okay, it measures how fast you're going over a certain amount of time. So, in order to convert 185 yards per minute to miles per hour, we have to know the following. Now, at least two of the following. We need to know that there are 3 feet to every yard, 5,280 feet to every mile, and also 60 minutes to every hour. Specifically, we need to know one of these two guys right here, okay? Specifically this one right here, 5,280 feet to 1 mile. And we need to know that there's 60 minutes to every hour. So in order for us to convert this, we need to set up our problem. Now, I might do my problem a little bit differently than what other people do it, but you know, the way that this works just makes sense to me. So if you have another way, and as long as it works, definitely go ahead and use it. So how I set it up, well, we start off with 185 yards per minute. So that means we got 185 yards for every 1 minute. So that's 185 yards per 1 minute. Okay. Now, at the very end of our problem, we should have a miles on top and an hour on the bottom. That's the only units we should have left over. Okay, so here we're going to be doing a lot of cancellation with the units. All right, so let's see here. Let's see how we want to proceed. Well, dealing with the minutes right here, well, we know that our answer has to be in hours. Hours has to be on the bottom. So in order for us to have the hours on the bottom, well, then we have the minutes up at the top. The reason why we put the minutes up at the top is because this unit up here is going to cancel out with this unit down here. Okay, so it cancels out the minutes, and we're only left with the hours on the bottom. Now, how many minutes are there per 1 hour? Well, that's where this guy comes in. 60 minutes to 1 hour. All right, so later on, we're going to cancel out these minutes, and all we're going to left with is something over hour, something per hour. Now, we got to take care of the yard. So we got the easy part down, but now we got to take care of the length, the units, the yards in particular. So we know that we have to have miles on top, and then we have the hours on the bottom. Okay. Now, the miles has to be on top, meaning that we have to cancel out the yards somehow. Okay. So in order for us to cancel out the yards has to be on top, but something has to cancel out the yards on the bottom. So that means we're going to have a yard unit on the bottom. Now on the top, well, that's why I actually put all 3 of these right here. Okay. Now I said specifically to know this one, but this one definitely comes in handy too. Okay. Now we know that that there are a certain amount of yards in 1 mile. You can figure that out, but for me, I like to play it safe. Now we know that for every yard, there's 3 feet to it. Okay. So for basically what we're saying is that we got 3 feet to 1 yard. 3 feet for every yard. Now what this does, this cancels out the yards. So now we have feet over hours. Okay, we just haven't actually slashed and splattered yet. So now here's where we're going to have to convert from feet to miles. And that's where the second part comes in. So here, we have to cancel out the feet, but we have to have the miles on top. Okay, because our final answer has to have miles per hour. Miles on top, hour on the bottom. So that means the feet has to be on the bottom here. Okay. And we know that there are how many feet to 1 mile? Well, this little guy right here, which comes from the conversion tables in the module, So that means we've got 5,280 feet to 1 mile. All right. Now, oh, where is my marker? Where'd that joker go? Nope, that is a highlighter. Ah, there we go. Alright, so let's start canceling out some units. Let's start slash and splatter. Well, this minute cancels out with this minute right here. Okay, just the units cancel out. This yard cancels out with this yard right here. They divide out. Let's see here. This feet cancels out with this feet on the bottom. Okay? So all we're left with is now just multiplying the numbers on the top. 185 times 60 times 3 divided by 1 times 1 times 1 times 5,280 on the bottom. Now the units that we have left over, the only one we didn't cancel out on the top was miles. The only one we didn't cancel out on the bottom was hour. All right. So basically, we take our calculator, which I have just a plain old solar power calculator, and we just multiply across. Multiply the top numbers on the top, and then multiply the bottom, and then divide it by the bottom number. So here, 185 times 60 times 3. So on the top here, we get 33,300 divided by 5,280. And then we still have the units miles over hour. So we take that number, that 33,000 number, and we divide it by 5,280. So basically we've got 6.31 miles over hour. Basically, in a nutshell, we are going 6.31 miles per hour. All right. So that's how we convert, in this particular problem, 185 yards in 1 minute to miles per hour. Okay? So yes, if you have any questions about this one or anything pertaining to this particular problem, definitely let me know. Shoot me an email. Happy to help, guys.